All right, guys, we are live. One team, one podcast. This is called the Coffee and Donuts. This is going to be our Sunday morning reaction shows. I need a day. To kind of get my head together. There's a lot of things that I say on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon that I need to
reassess.
Yeah. I did a lot of reassessing yesterday.
Boy, did you.
You were at the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be fun to see what your perspective. We hadn't really talked, really.
Not really.
Your perspectives being at the game versus mine, watching all the highlights and rewinding things and seeing why we did this, why we did that, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I needed a day to get my head together a little bit and get some thoughts collected. And it's getting a little nasty out there.
Yeah.
The LSU verse is getting a little rambunctious, as we would say.
Let's get a list going right now of some of the major overreactions that we're hearing.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. 1, Miles Brennan needs to be subbed out. That's insane. That's lunacy. That's so far in left field. I don't even know what to say to you if that's what your opinion is.
I'm not about to say that exactly.
I don't think
and honestly, I'm not even going to start with the offensive side of the ball. I think all conversation...
Well, that's where all the overreactions are coming from, I think.
I agree with that. But it feels like nobody's talking about how terrible the defense was.
Our secondary played the worst game of any secondary in SEC history.
Guys, I got bourbon cream in front of us. We got Mary Lee Donuts. We're working on a sponsorship with Mary Lee, actually. You didn't know that. We got Courtesy. We got Bear Process Safety. We're all connected here.
Well, we get free donuts if they sponsor?
Yes, we will.
Oh, my God.
I know Mary Lee's pretty well, so we'll see. This just came about. I don't know.
This is awesome.
Yeah, well, just for the show. Not
great news.
Right. Anyway, yeah. It's all got to start with the defense.
Yeah.
And this is what I was screaming the entire game. I'm just going to tell you my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
I actually agree with playing man-to-man coverage. Now...
Let you finish.
Right. No. Yeah, hear me out. I actually agree with, I guess, starting the game man-to-man coverage. When you start seeing them doing those crossing routes and the separation that those wide receivers got on our cornerbacks. If you want to continue to play man-to-man coverage, there's only one way to do it. There's only one way.
You gotta stop blitzing.
I'm sorry, what?
You gotta stop blitzing?
No.
All right, what are you gonna say?
You have to blitz, but when you blitz, you have to go in the face, up the middle every time, and you have to affect the pass one way or another, blocking it or getting in his face with a hand in his face and blocking the pass. If you don't do that, you're effing screwed.
Yeah.
You can come all day long with Ali Gay on the outside and hope you get there. But if you don't get home, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And if you want to continue to play that game, you're playing with fire, and they did, and they got burned bad. And not only that, but you're seeing, look, this poor kid Evans.
Oh, my God.
I know he's thrown to the Wolves because he just transferred here, but have you seen some of the...
I do feel bad for him because he's only been here for, a week and a half?
Yes, but who taught anybody playing press man-to-man...
Without pressing?
And it's like, why are you even doing this? Just take 5 steps back if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
No, allow them to throw it short if that's what you want to do.
Dude, just how many times did Costello throw the ball?
So this makes me, and I understand Stingley's out. I get all that, but it makes me start thinking about, okay, what's going on in the defensive coaching staff that you can't make an adjustment like that after the first quarter?
Right.
I mean, he had close to 300 yards passing at halftime.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable to me. And why people aren't talking about that more than they're talking about Miles Brennan, I have no idea. Now, I have plenty of bad things to say about Miles Brennan. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they're
Like,
nothing
we were
like.
going to have bad things to say about him after this game. Win or loss, probably.
Well, okay. Well, you want to switch to that, or you want to continue on the defense?
Let's continue on the defense because I actually do want to talk about how our defensive line actually looks really good.
Our defensive line looks good. I loved when we blitzed up the middle. The only thing that worked to me, unless Ali Gay got home from the outside and like affected the passer, which he did. Ali Gay looked pretty good. If you're not going to play zone defense though, at all, and this is the complete opposite. I feel like we should have had this reaction show in 2005 after we played Arizona State.
Yeah, I was just
and Bo Pelini was playing zone. And then the next game we played Tennessee and we played man, and it's like he figured it out. Well, this game he plays all man, never even attempts to go to a zone, knowing that his cornerbacks are just like putrid. I mean, Cordell Flott, Jay Ward, these are guys with tons of Flott's got some experience.
Right. Flott's,
I know he's a sophomore, but he's got experience.
Flott didn't play his best game, but I still didn't think he was terrible.
Elias Ricks.
That undercut was just awful.
He played terrible until that one play where all of a sudden he jammed the guy, runs side by side with him, turns his head, and it's like that's exactly what you should have been doing. Dude, to me that was the game. If you can't stop Mississippi State, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. That's the simple Matty math that we've been talking about. If they score more points than you, it doesn't matter. If they continue to score touchdowns, it doesn't matter until you stop that stuff. And we saw some crazy ass post today about we made big stops. We had 4 turnovers.
Oh my God.
They had 623 yards passing. They're still running up and down the field in their cornerbacks.
I don't understand how you can look at this game as a positive.
We didn't take advantage of a lot of stuff, and there was one key time in the at the end of the first half where we could have taken complete control of that game because we had a 2-for-1 kind of situation where we were going to get the ball back in the second half. Could have taken control of the whole game, and it would have changed everything, but they didn't.
Right. Or like, how about in the second half, Miles Brennan finally leads a really good drive down the field, and then it's like, okay, we're up. I think it was 24-20 at that point. And very next play is the wheel route to Kylan Hill. And it's like, golly, I mean, you're just not – you got to help your offense. It's like we've talked for years about how the offense needs to help the defense. Yeah, it's kind of the other way around now.
It was yesterday. Yeah. Now, if Mississippi State leads you in time of possession, you got problems. You got serious problems on the offensive side, not just the defensive side. That means you're going 3 and out. Meanwhile, Mississippi State's putting drives together with Mike Leach. That's crazy. Like you're not gonna win that game.
I thought a big problem with our offense was that they weren't able to sustain drives for like long periods of time, and the only way that they could score and be efficient on offense was when they played fast. And like that's good that we play well when we play fast, but you got to be able to like control the ball sometimes and like have a 4-minute touchdown drive.
Yes.
And we're just not there yet.
All right. So offensively, let's just talk about this because it's like the elephant in the room with Miles Brennan. Yeah. I think the first half he played awful. And you could say, and not you, but anybody can say anything they want about how badly he played for the rest of the game. He didn't play that bad in the second half.
I thought he was actually pretty good in the second half.
I wouldn't say pretty good. I think he was okay.
I think it's his first game, I'd say he played pretty good.
I don't care that it's his first game. He's a 4-year player.
It's his first start.
I don't care. I'm not going to listen to that at all. Joe Burrow came off the bus against Miami and played probably as well. If that offense was the offense that he was in right now, he would have better stats than what Miles Brennan's had for a 4-year player at LSU. Here's my problem with Miles Brennan before you answer that. He was timid, he was scared in the pocket, and he didn't know what to do with his decisions. He didn't know where to go with the ball in the first half. He was thrown off his back foot. He didn't look like he was ready to play. And that's very, very worrisome for a 4-year player coming into this offense that were all ready to kind of take the reins, and it makes me worried that he doesn't have the confidence level to do this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think that his confidence looks great at all, and that's probably that's my biggest thing with him is just like how tight he is at all times, and it's like when he has a guy that's like just like kind of open down the field, he's too scared to throw the ball to him. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like Jarrett Lee after his freshman season when he just like wouldn't want to throw the ball down the field, because he was so scared after that freshman season, and he always wanted to like make sure ball control, like don't let them have an interception, don't turn the ball over.
Right.
And that was very frustrating.
Yeah, so we had you texted me earlier about offensive line.
I thought the offensive line was fucking garbage.
I think they were also, but there were plenty of opportunities where Brennan did not look comfortable in the pocket and either ran out of the pocket too fast or he stood there and held on the ball too long and didn't want to make a decision with the ball. Right. Which makes your offensive line look worse when you do that. Yep. It's kind of like a running back not following his blocks and just kind of completely like running out, and, or not following the hole and making your offensive line look like they didn't block it well when they really did. So I think there's some of that. Like I said, I'm just worried about him and his confidence level. And you could kind of, like you said, I think that's a perfect analogy with Jarrett Lee. Yeah. Like you can just see where Jarrett Lee was like,
where does that come from though?
I don't know.
I don't understand that.
Again, Jarrett Lee, when he got thrown in, was a freshman. Yeah. Redshirt freshman. Miles Brennan has been here, man. Like he has been here. He has got 1 year of experience in this offense. I know he didn't play. I get it. But he's got 1 year of being in this offense to know that he should have a read. I've saw plenty of times yesterday where there were wide open wide receivers, and he didn't make the throw. Mm-hmm. What? And I don't know if he.
I thought most of that was in the first half, though.
I did, but
because there were. I could probably count like 5 or 6 times where he had like a wide open guy down the field, and he just missed it. He just never saw it.
Yeah.
And second half, I think there was maybe only once or twice.
Well, I saw second half. There were some times where he made throws, but he made them too late. He held on the ball.
He was late on a lot of throws.
I mean, there's one play where Eric Gilbert's wide open in the end zone, and he makes the pass the second too late, and all of a sudden it's an incompleted like contested pass.
I think a big thing is for this team is going to be getting started early.
I agree,
and like just allowing Miles Brennan to be comfortable early, because if he's not comfortable early, he's just gonna
here's another thing with Miles Brennan. These wide receivers have to catch the ball. 6 drop passes. I don't remember, and these aren't just like really, really tough catches or anything that they were trying to make. Some of them are right in the freaking hands. You've got to catch the ball when you have a quarterback like this that's struggling with confidence. Like you've got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
I know this is overreaction Sunday. I can't remember 6 drop passes all freaking year last year. Now, am I starting to see Joe Brady already? The ghost of Joe Brady's already here. I hate doing that crap because
I very much felt the absence of Joe Brady yesterday.
Okay, let's talk about that because I haven't really gotten into that a lot.
I genuinely thought that there was like such little creativity.
Didn't you? We need to switch from coffee already.
I don't know about you.
Bourbon cream.
My coffee's got a little something in it.
I got a little something in mine too. Oh my god.
Okay, the thing I kept screaming yesterday, and this is just one little thing. This is just one little piece. But can we get our goddamn backs in space? I mean, dude, these guys are studs.
The backs?
Yeah.
Okay, so
and like,
you mean out of the backfield, right?
Yes. You're just running them into a box.
Right.
And it's like, I mean, yes, it was slightly effective, I guess. I mean, I think the backs had like 4 yards of carry or something like that.
We're getting some comments on the live stream here, aren't we?
Yeah, we got a few.
All right, I don't need to see you right now, Justin Hillhouse, okay? I'm not in the mood, Justin Hillhouse.
Is he in the chat?
Yes, he's in the chat. It's our Mississippi State fan who I owe $100 bottle of bourbon to. But his ball floats. Talking about Miles Brennan. The throw behind Emory was bad. I agree with that. I know which one he's talking about. That was bad.
That.
And
although Emory still should have caught that. It was a bad throw, but Emory should have caught it. Someone we didn't talk about, actually, when going back to the defense, Jacoby Stevens. I mean, that was an excellent pick for the 7, I thought, so far.
He
looked awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Right before his man play where he just completely just takes over and decides that he's going to be an NFL player on one play, he was absent from the television highlights for, I would say, about a quarter. That was the third quarter that happened. I think that I don't remember seeing him a lot for the majority of the game.
Well, he got a sack in the first quarter.
Yes. Second quarter, I didn't even see him.
Second quarter, he got the strip sack. Oh, no. Third quarter, he got
Yes.
It was third quarter, he got the strip sack.
Yes.
No, that was fourth quarter. It was
fourth quarter. So I was just commenting right before that happened. I was like, where the hell is Jacoby Stevens? Was he dropping back? Was he blitzing?
I mostly saw him playing linebacker.
I know. Was he dropping back or was he coming on blitzes? I felt like there was 2 quarters where I didn't even see him on the field, and that's a problem.
And maybe that's just because they were trying to throw away from him because he was the best player on the defense.
He was. I feel like at that point, though, he's got to be in the middle of the field causing havoc somewhere, especially with these crossing routes.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to send him maybe on more blitzes.
Oh, getting heated already. I'm getting heated.
You're really seeing what we were talking about with like how Jacoby Stevens just needs to play linebacker.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that at all.
That was by far his best role yesterday was when he was playing linebacker. Because, I mean, like you said, I didn't even notice him when he was dropping back a safety, and I know he did at some points.
It's worrisome that you have a guy like Jacoby Stevens who can play a coverage linebacker. You have a guy like Jabril Cox who looks like
Jabril Cox might be the best coverage linebacker in the fucking country.
All right. Hold on. And I get it.
Talent-wise.
Yes.
Talent-wise.
You got a guy like Jacoby Stevens who can play that role. You got a guy like Jabril Cox who looks like he could play, like Coach O said, he could play nickel if he wanted him to. He's a you got a guy like Damone Clark who looked like he was moving around very, very well.
Yeah, he led the team in tackles.
And you give up 623 passing yards on mostly crossing routes.
Yeah.
And wheel routes. These are things where these guys should be. I mean, they should be dominating the middle of the field. They should be dominating I don't care if it's Kylan Hill or what. They should be dominating those guys coming out of the backfield. And they were like almost nowhere to be found. And to me, that is Bo Pelini. Yeah. Bo Pelini.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's all on Bo Pelini.
I
think the entire loss is on Bo Pelini. I can pretty much say that.
Man, he was my guy coming in too.
Yeah.
This just screams like no adjustments at all. Not prepared.
Yeah.
This poor Evans kid, again, left on an island, not prepared, coming from Nichols. It's terrible. Terrible. This was a terrible loss. Terrible.
Yeah. I just I think there's plenty of coaching improvements that can be made. Is maybe one of the only good things, if there is something good. It's like the talent obviously there. I thought that was blatantly obvious that we have plenty of talent.
Oh, we're way more talented than Mississippi State.
Yeah.
If you took a look at the two, the 623 yards passing aside, probably. But if you take the two and you flip them, just look at the stats and you flip them, and you didn't know whose team was who, wouldn't you say that LSU was Mississippi State, Mississippi State was LSU?
No. Knowing that Mike Leach is Mississippi State's coach.
Well, I'm talking about just take away the 623 passing yards and maybe say it's like 450 or something like that. I would have thought that we would have handled Mississippi State on their defensive side like they handled us on our defensive side. I thought they made us look like complete, like
I see
a
what you're saying.
complete train wreck on defense,
Yeah.
where they should have been the ones.
Yeah.
I almost felt like they got more pressure on us than we got on them.
That was a big thing. Although we did get a ton of pressure.
We did.
I saw,
And
a
we still
stat.
gave up
We
600
had
yards.
41 quarterback pressures.
I know, and
I've
look,
never seen a number.
I
like that.
love Cody Worsham. I will love him to death.
He gets paid by LSU.
I know he does.
And
I know he does, and I
he
love
has
him. I
to-
love him.
He has to be a homer.
I know he
just has
does.
to be.
You can feed me these lines all day long. At the end of the day, I'm going to look at you gave up 44 points and 623 yards passing, and they won the time of possession battle against you while throwing over 60 times.
I think the point of that was to say wasn't the defensive line's fault. Defensive line did their damn job, and I think that was really a testament to how bad the secondary was.
Yeah, and it goes back to our initial point, which was if you're going to play
Press man
if you're going to play that way in the back, then the defensive line has to get home. Like if they don't get home, you're just screwed. You might as well not even play anybody in the back.
I'm interested to see.
Might as well just bring 8
what
guys.
Kind of difference Stingley makes. It's not going to be enough, I don't think.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Stingley.
I think
Stingley being out.
I think if you look at
the point spread goes down.
No, right when Stingley went out,
it was like a 2-point.
I was like, this is going to go down by like 8 points.
It went down 2.
It went down 2?
Yeah, it was a 2-point. Well, it's one guy. It goes down 2. It's 16 and a half. It went down to 14 and a half.
I genuinely thought it should have gone down to like 9. That's what I was thinking. I felt like that was going to make such a major impact. And I felt like it really did.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you don't have Stingley, you have to have all these guys that are just not that great in coverage.
Yeah.
And then that kind of forces you to drop more people back in coverage. And then you can't get as much pressure. And then they have longer time to throw.
Yes.
And it affects every level of the defense not having a Derek Stingley.
Well, I liked the idea of rushing 4, maybe taking one of these guys and mixing it up. Like there was one time where Gary Danielson was on it. He was like, look, they're trying everything they can to get to the quarterback here, but they're running a twist and it's taking too long.
Yeah.
And I agreed. What they needed to do, you got to bring, if you want to blitz, you need to bring one extra guy, maybe a 5th guy, but he's got to come from the middle. He can't come from the edge. You got to affect the guy in the face. There was one block pass by Neil Farrell, and if Neil Farrell didn't make that play, that was a touchdown.
It was a touchdown. I remember that. It was the tight end over the middle of the field.
Yeah,
or something like that.
he was wide open.
I remember that.
And I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you had to have for the rest of the game. If without that, you're screwed, and they were.
Yeah, we did a starter spotlight the other day on Allie Gay, and I was saying that you could look to see Allie Gay bat some balls down, and I think he had 3 pass breakups.
Yeah, 6'6" dude out there. And I think they were worse. I think they were worse when he was coming from the edge, and he would try to get to the last minute, kind of like swipe at the quarterback, and all Costello would have to do at that point is just take one little step up. And
there were a couple of times where I thought he was about to strip it, like a few times where he came real damn close.
And all that stuff is great, and if you have cornerbacks that are actually playing the right coverage,
right? Yeah, but
it's not Gay's fault, is what I mean.
Yeah, I think that was the point of that Cody Worsham post, that we had, 41 pressures, I think 13 hits, 3 sacks, whatever. I think the point of that was to say it's not the D-line's fault. But let's go back to the corners. You bring back Stingley, obviously, best defender in the country. You bring I think Ricks looks good. I think he's going to be a lockdown guy eventually. And he showed that on the pick, obviously. I think Flott is a really good nickel.
Yes.
And if that's your 3 corners, I think that's pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah.
Todd Harris needs some work. That dude can't tackle in the open field.
Yeah.
Maurice Hampton, I didn't notice.
I saw
him. I didn't notice.
We
him
saw Mo
hardly at
Hampton
all.
get miss a couple of tackles as well. I mean, we had some serious tackling issues in the open field, but it was almost too late at that point. Like some of the tackling issues were already 20 yards downfield.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, you might as well. Like, but yeah, I think you're okay on offense with Miles Brennan. Here was my biggest disappointment of the entire. It was like very broad overview of the day. Look, you guys been listening to me. I was big time on this team. I thought this team had it still. I thought our offensive scheme was still in place. I felt like the guys that we had were good enough to plug in to an offensive scheme like this. But I think I was really counting on Miles Brennan being at a different level than what he was than I was shown here. And I feel betrayed is a great word about our defense.
Yeah.
I think that was shameful and embarrassing.
I think one of the biggest times during the game, actually, when I realized that, like, maybe Miles Brennan just isn't that good, is at the end of the game. The game was over, but we were down 10 and 2 minutes left, and he's hitting all these fucking dump downs. And you know what it reminded me of? It was when he came in against Alabama his freshman year at the end of the game. You remember that?
Yeah.
We had like 4 minutes left.
I was at the game.
Oh, you were? Yeah, we were down by 2 touchdowns, I think. We put Miles Brennan in for some reason. It was like we still weren't out of the game. But
Danny Etling was, but it felt like we were
it felt like we were
toast.
out of the game. But like technically we still had a shot. 4 minutes, 2 scores. And we put in Brennan, and he comes in, and it's like, okay, we're putting Miles Brennan in to go vertical. And he just hits a bunch of dump downs. And it's like that's the exact same thing he did at the end of the game yesterday when you have to be forcing the ball down the field.
Right.
And granted, the game was already over, but I just that frustrates the hell out of me to see, like, it's like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, I felt like he was afraid to go deep.
Yeah, it's just like he's so afraid. He's afraid. He's afraid to go deep.
That was what I started this with. Was I think his confidence, and he was scared, and that makes me very, very worried. And if it was a freshman I'm talking about, I wouldn't be as concerned. But this is a 4th-year junior.
Yeah,
that's inexcusable to me. And when I hear people clamoring, first of all, people are clamoring for the wrong quarterback. I hear TJ Finley's name over and over and over. That ain't the guy. It's Max Johnson. Max Johnson would be the first out.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people shouting TJ Finley at the game.
They're stupid. They don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, it's not TJ Finley. It would be Max Johnson. Max Johnson would
that's when you know it's like these are people that
they don't know.
Follow the team very much.
That's right.
So.
They don't. They're going to be shocked when they see Max Johnson come out one day.
Yeah.
All right, so Max Johnson.
We're back to the days where the backup quarterback is the best player on the team.
Yeah, no, or he's the most favorite. Let's talk about Max Johnson. Coach's kid oozes confidence. That I wouldn't see him being a guy that would be scared. I understand his limitations would be that he doesn't know the offense as well.
He would be timid too, though, as a freshman.
I think he would too.
But here's the difference between him and Brennan is that he can run the ball.
That's right. I was about to say. There was a couple of plays.
I think they said he runs like a 4.640.
All right.
I don't know.
Yesterday, the problem that I saw with Brennan sometimes was that he would leave the pocket too quickly when he did have time. And he has no confidence in his offensive line, obviously, or he's just got happy feet. He leaves the pocket. He tries to do the scramble for the first down like Burrow would do all the time, except he's slow.
Yeah.
And he's very slow.
He's not. Although we shouldn't say he's very slow. He's faster than the average pocket
He's faster than me, yes.
He
he's not as fast as Joe Burrow, but he's faster than me. He's somewhere in the middle, wouldn't you say? Max Johnson is a guy who can get out of the pocket
Yeah.
and probably make that play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
I know.
it.
We're stretching.
I don't
We're
know
going
why
too far.
I don't know why we're entertaining this thought. I don't think we should.
He does look. If he continues to look scared in the pocket, you're going to be hearing this more and more and more.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a change.
All right, but
I'm hoping this is the first game.
More than 10% of his passes were dropped. That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. That first catch by Eric Gilbert for the first down happens,
awesome.
and you continue. If you continue the drive, that would have helped things a lot. Yeah, I agree with you with the drops. I don't know where that's coming from, and that makes me even worried as well on the wide receivers.
It was something like 12% of his passes were dropped.
I mean, we.
I mean, it's like you have an unconfident quarterback. You got receivers dropping balls, and granted, the receivers were really only dropping balls in the first half.
You got
you got an O line that's, I mean, is okay.
I didn't see a lot of
letting pressure get through a too much. It's too much. It's too often.
I agree with you.
There's a lot of free runners, that's just on the O line. There's no one you can blame other than the O line for free runners.
I didn't see a lot of
Dare Rosenthal just doesn't look. He doesn't look like it.
Yeah, well, to me, in your offensive line, there is nobody else that you're gonna like. What we get is what we see is what we get.
Right. Well, that's the thing, and that's kind of my biggest worry because I don't see how that can be fixed.
I don't think it can.
It's just the guys that are there are the guys that are there.
Miles Brennan has all the ability to make those guys look better, though, and so does Steve Ensminger, and so does Scott Linehan.
Miles Brennan does not have the ability to make those guys look better.
Yes, he does.
How?
He can make a decision faster than what he makes.
Okay.
If he holds onto the ball too long, that's a problem.
I'd say that's the only thing, though.
I also think
because
you
he
did not
genuinely
see
isn't good.
You didn't see dump outs like you saw with Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year. You didn't see that at all.
Yes.
So they commented like this on TV yesterday about Eric Gilbert being lined up, and this had to be because of the pressure that he was getting. How many donuts have you eaten so far? Can we just stop and talk about this?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm sad.
You're depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're stress eating.
Depression donuts.
Right. So Eric Gilbert was lined up like right on the edge of the O-line pretty much all game in a 3-point stance. And they commented on this in the game saying, I thought we were going to see him more out wide. And then, every now and then you saw him as a slot kind of guy. But most of the game, I'd say probably about 80% of his snaps, you saw him right at the edge of the O-line. And it's making me wonder if he was there to protect the O-line because the O-line was already going to be.
Well, whatever.
They knew it ahead of time.
He was doing. He wasn't very good at blocking.
No, he wasn't. There was one play that he just completely whipped a guy.
I mean,
in my opinion, that can
be expected from a freshman receiving tight end.
Yes. So it goes back to the difference in 2018 to 2019.
Someone actually just said that on the chat, too.
What's that? That Gilbert can't block? I agree. It goes back from 2018 to 2019, where you would keep guys in to protect instead of releasing everybody out. And then 2019, I understand you had a different team and you had a really experienced O-line, all that kind of stuff. But what you did is you changed your mentality and you put everybody out, and you just got the ball out quick.
Yeah.
So this could be where you're talking about with your stud running backs. Instead of just running these zone read draws up the middle over and over and over, getting maybe 3 to 4 yards, how about you make a play action with that guy, have him go out in the flat and look downfield and then check down to your back, maybe in the flat.
Right.
None of that happened, and that's worrisome. And that's
our 3 running backs had 3 catches. They all went to Emory. One of them was on that last little garbage time drive, and it's just, I mean, that was a big point with this offense was that we were supposed to be getting the ball to our backs in the open field a lot.
Yeah,
and they were supposed to be awesome backs, but we're not getting them in the open field.
Especially a guy like
You're not
John
letting
Emery.
them- yes. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I mean, I think Emery ended up with 10 touches for 52 yards.
Yeah.
And like that's fine. I can't really complain about that stat. I think all the running backs had a pretty similar stat actually. And like I can't complain about 5 yards a touch for the running backs. I mean that's pretty solid. But yeah, I just don't understand why we're not getting them in space and letting them like do what they do. You know?
Right. Somebody just said, "Did we throw any screens?" No.
No, we
not.
didn't run any screens. That was my biggest thing. Run a damn screen.
Or
They're
a
getting so much pressure.
or a wide receiver screen or something like that.
We did run a lot of wide receiver screens actually. We ran those bubble screens.
I didn't see very many of them.
We ran a couple tunnel screens and we ran a few bubble screens. I think Trey Palmer caught one.
Hey, let's talk about the wide receivers. So after, I think it was the first quarter, or was it the first half? Yeah, it was the first half. Second half come in, all your wide receivers have changed. They, I don't know what happened, but Terrace Marshall was not on the field.
Yeah.
Grayson McMath was not on the field.
Where are our
We
guys?
started with Jontre Kirkland, Jere Jenkins, and
who played well, by the way.
I saw some Coy Moore in the game
Coy
at the
Moore
beginning
played
of the second half.
ton yesterday.
So I don't know if they got.
Maybe chewed out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Dropping
like
balls.
Palmer, I saw Palmer in the game too. So Palmer was in there. I didn't. I don't know if they got completely chewed out or what, and they just said, "Look, if you guys aren't gonna play, we're gonna play our other guys, and try to shake it up a little bit."
Yeah, and then guess what happens? Terrace Marshall catches 2 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah, you look at Terrence Marshall's stat line; it looked great.
Yeah, and Terrace Marshall did play well. Other than I think he had 1 or 2 drops.
He did. There was one play where he's out on the out does like an out pass. Miles Brennan throws it to the other guy, and I could see Terrace Marshall was
Like
adamantly upset.
Yeah.
Yes, saying because that would be where Burrow would have made the throw.
Yeah.
There was a couple of plays where I think it was Gilbert where Brennan is rolling out, scrambling. Burrow would have made the throw.
Yeah.
2 seconds later, Brennan makes the throw and he's out of bounds. There's stuff like that where I'm okay with those, but I'm just hoping that gets changed because this guy's got way too much experience and talent to play like that.
Yeah. And another thing with Brennan is that when he has a guy running down the
so we
field-
started this by saying Brennan. We're not going to get on Brennan as much. We're going to talk about the defense, and then I guess about 80% of our conversation has been about the offense.
Yeah.
Huh? That's typical.
Yeah. I mean, it always will be. It's like, but the defense, it's like there's fixable issues, and like it is what it is.
Yes.
I don't know. They played awful. That's all I got. It's like they played awful. There were no adjustments. Defensive line's actually kind of good. DBs were just horrendous.
Yeah, and I
That's
guess
it.
here's
That's it.
and are we going to end it by saying something positive? Because if we look at the
we're
stats,
going 9-1.
huh?
We're going 9-1.
Oh, 9-1. Okay, I'm not even there yet with my predictions again. Obviously, we're not going 10-0. So I guess I need to revise that now. Shocker. Here's the positive for me is that we don't think our offense even played very well. I don't think our offense played very well.
No, I mean, offense put up 27 points.
Yeah, I don't think they played very well.
That's not what I think they should be putting up against Mississippi State.
No, I agree. But stat-wise, you could take a look at the stats and say, oh, that looks not bad. I think it was like 450 total yards. Now, an improvement would be because I thought we were scoring 40 points on Mississippi State.
I do think the offense showed plenty of capability, though. And it's like that's almost what makes it more frustrating, this loss, is that like we were definitely capable of like not dropping an egg in this one.
What was the score when that first half? We get the ball back. I think we were up 17-14 in the first half. Am I right?
No, we were down 17-14.
We were down 17-14. We had the ball. I was hoping we could go down the
Get
field.
a quick one. Yeah.
Yeah, score a touchdown before the end of the half, 21-17. We get the ball back second half, score another touchdown, 28-17.
Get rolling.
And we
this
have
game's over.
complete control of the game.
Yeah.
And we shit the pot, is what they would say.
Yeah, we didn't score there. Well, we came down in the second half, kicked a field goal on the first drive, I think.
Yeah, right.
And then they scored a field goal. We scored a touchdown.
I thought that was going to be the time where we were going to take control of it, and that's the difference so far in this year and last year is where we would have taken advantage of a situation like that. But first of all, we can't stop anybody. If we can't stop anybody, none of that matters.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see Derek Stingley back in the lineup.
This was such a perfect storm, though. You know, you play against a team who likes to throw the ball 60 times a game, and then you don't have your best secondary player, which just happens to be
and you play
the
like
best
crap.
defensive player in the entire country, and you don't play that well. You don't play your best. They play their best.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, KJ Costello, he's a stud. He made some awesome throws. Their wide receivers are way better than I thought they were. You remember we were talking about their wide receivers. I was like, I don't think they got anybody at wide receiver. They got some dudes. Tyrell Shavers is pretty good.
Oh, I agree with that. So here's I'm kind of mixed on this with the KJ Costello hype, and I know Preston Guy picked KJ Costello to be his all-SEC quarterback, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying otherwise on that. What I'm saying is LSU made him look like
he had a lot of open guys.
Like an All-American where he's not. LSU played bad on defense in the backfield that he's not as good as what everybody's probably making him out to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he looked awesome.
Now, I think their wide receivers are good.
It was like, yes, we were giving them a lot, but he made us pay every single time. You know?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of well, actually, he didn't really show a lot of his athleticism yesterday, but he actually also is a pretty athletic kid.
No, he could step up in the pocket.
Yeah.
He
can run a little bit too.
Here was my issues with offense for LSU compared to offense for Mississippi State was they looked prepared to play.
Yeah.
Even though they had a brand new coaching staff coming in, new scheme, everything.
That's why I get aggravated whenever I hear people say like, "Oh, well, we didn't have a full fall camp."
Neither did they. They had less than we had.
They had, yeah, exactly. They had the exact same amount of time and a brand new coaching staff.
Yeah. I think our defense made them.
That's not an excuse.
I think our defense.
We actually have the upper hand there on them.
You would think, but we have a quarterback who's scared in the pocket.
Right.
Whereas KJ Costello was not.
I was thinking about this on the way over here. I think we're better than Mississippi State at every single position except for quarterback.
Yes, I agree with that. Maybe running back, but.
Well, I think our running back room is better than their running back room. I'd say Kylan Hill is better than anybody we got, but
yep.
I'd say we.
Well, Kylan Hill in that offense.
Kylan Hill's a stud.
That's very good.
Yeah.
He's electric in that offense, and it's what I wanted to see out of
Emory.
Really, out of Emory. Yeah, I feel like Emory's our most explosive guy.
Yeah.
And we never put him in any explosive situation.
In the open field. I want to see him in the open field, and we never got him in the open field.
Is he? Can he not catch the ball or something? Like I feel like he's not out in the.
I don't know.
I'm getting really worried. All right.
If it's a good pass, he's gonna catch it. You know, like he's a good freaking player.
I said this from the beginning a couple months ago. Do not touch anything that you did last year with your offense. Do not.
Right.
The way that you played offense last year is the way to play offense. If you are regressing your offense because of the guys that you have, I think you're making a mistake. I think you need to plug these guys in and plug in Emory into a Clyde Edwards-Helaire role. Let him make his mistakes, obviously, but put him out, stretch him out wide, do all the things that you did last year. Take Eric Gilbert and put him in a Thad Moss role. Oh my God,
right?
That guy. That's what I'm saying is like they have to use these guys in the same scheme. If they start trying to change that scheme, they're dumb. They're dumb.
Well, hold on. You said put Eric Gilbert in a Thad Moss role.
Put him.
With that.
Huh?
I don't agree with that.
use him exactly the way you used Thad Moss last year.
No.
Why?
Because he can't block.
Thad Moss caught so many balls out of a slot position last year.
Yeah, but Eric Gilbert can play out wide. Why wouldn't you play him out wide?
Thad Moss would play at the boundary about 40% of the time last year.
Are you going to throw up a 50-50 ball to Thad Moss? No.
What I'm saying is, look, Miles Brennan had his eyes locked on Eric Gilbert yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. You weren't going to throw a 50-50 ball to Thad Moss last year, but if that was Eric Gilbert out there last year, hell yeah, you're throwing a 50-50 ball to that monster.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying everywhere he is on the field, Thad Moss, put Eric Gilbert in that same scheme. You plug these guys exactly the way they were in last year.
But I do think Eric Gilbert can play wide receiver, and I think
Thad Moss did it last year.
Yeah, but like you're not using Thad Moss the same way that you would use Eric Gilbert because Eric Gilbert can just do more as a receiver.
Yesterday, you used Eric Gilbert as a tight end on the line. You did not stretch him out wide,
and I think that needs to change.
They stretched Thad Moss out wide more than they did Eric Gilbert yesterday. Like Eric Gilbert was not used the way Thad Moss was last year. They changed something. And I don't know if they did it because they were worried about their offensive line or
did
what.
They do it because there's just no Joe Brady.
I think it has something to do with it. And that's where I'm worried is you don't have Joe Brady who's telling you, okay, this is the way to do the offense. And you got other people trying to put their little fingerprints in, and they're dumb. They're dumb.
And, like, I couldn't help but think yesterday about how
we got a comment saying that Jack's hair looks awesome.
Thank you, Billy.
Jack got a haircut, guys. Billy, Jack's already had 6 donuts from our Mary Lee Donuts. By the way, Mary Lee, big shout out to Mary Lee on Segan. We're going to get them to be a sponsor of this show. Protection for quarterback, hopefully. I'm assuming that's why Eric Gilbert was in.
What were we just talking about?
Joe Brady.
Yeah. I couldn't help but think yesterday that, like, I saw all these Cowboys fans coming at us whenever we hired Scott Linehan. They were like, oh, Scott Linehan's, like, the most bland, vanilla guy. And we were all like, oh, well, he's just a passing game coordinator. He's just going to bring experience.
Yep.
And we were pretty bland and vanilla yesterday.
I think we were, too. I was screaming for us to throw the ball downfield. But whenever we would do that, Miles Brady wouldn't make the throw. Miles Brennan wouldn't make the throw. I need a drink. He wouldn't make the throw downfield, and the combination of being vanilla with your offense, maybe having I saw this a lot. 4 wide receivers doing short routes, nobody going long.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like bunches. I don't like all that stuff. I want you to use your space. You're spreading people out. Let's spread everybody out. There's a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of zone read, and when there was zone read, the guys are keying completely on the running backs because they don't care if Miles Brennan runs the ball or not.
Yeah,
that ain't gonna work this year.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Play action, I think he's great with play action. Brennan,
yeah,
but when he does the play action, he needs to let the freaking ball go.
Yeah.
He needs to know, okay, he has no clock right now.
I was just about to say the clock thing. I was literally just about to say this.
And that's amazing to me.
How? How do you not have a clock?
Dude, this guy is very experienced. I know he hasn't played, and I'm going to keep saying this.
And, like, he hasn't taken a meaningful snap. I've never played quarterback. I don't know. Maybe that internal clock comes with playing. Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
But... yeah, I just don't understand. I don't understand why he doesn't have it. He just holds the ball too long. That's all I know. I can't give any further analysis than that.
Well, and Brandon Stewart, he was texting with me during the game, and I think he was joking, but he probably wasn't. That Miles Brennan can't read a defense. We actually had some funny commentary during the game. I wasn't laughing too much during the game, but it was actually funny. It was me, B. Stu, and Adam Berry with the home dogs. We were all texting each other. And Brandon is big on Drew Brees still. and Adam Berry thinks Drew Brees' arm is shot. Okay,
It
so
is.
there's a difference of opinion, and he's like, no, Drew Brees is still good. Just wait and see. Blah blah blah. He thinks they're going to be the Packers tonight and all that kind of stuff. Then he says, well, Miles Brennan can't read a defense, and Adam Berry's like, hold your horses. Miles Brennan's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the guy who thinks Brees is going to be.
Right, well, it's like I don't understand that because you think Breeze is going to improve, but you think Brennan's not.
Right.
It's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Breeze is regressing. Brennan's obviously going to improve.
Okay, so we got a question. Is Costello and Leach really that good, or LSU's D really that bad? We were just talking about this.
I was talking about this yesterday, and
Okay, go ahead.
it's just like it is a combination. I think this Mississippi State offense is pretty damn good. I think they really are. We made them look a lot better with the lack of adjustments and just our corners not being able to cover to save their lives. Also, I think Jay Ward was still hurt. I think the reason Darren Evans was playing yesterday was because Jay Ward wasn't 100%. And I think a reason that he got beat a lot of the times is because he's hurt. But I think he had a hamstring. He wasn't supposed to play today. Or yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to play. And then Darren Evans came in, dropped that egg, and they were like, okay, we got to play Jay. I think that was a big thing. Because Jay Ward wasn't playing at first.
Mm-hmm. I think Costello and Leach are good. They aren't nearly the level that they showed yesterday. LSU's defense.
They're not 44 points on LSU good.
They're not 623 yards passing, probably on anybody else in the league for the rest of the season.
Right. Well, that's gonna be a record that stands for a long time too, which sucks.
Right. So, Mike, here's another comment. Mike Leach has his ways, but he's won every place he's been. I agree with that, but
and, we did.
He didn't win. He doesn't win against this level of talent, and he doesn't put 623 yards up against this level of competition without LSU playing the way that they did.
Yeah.
The space that our cornerbacks gave those wide receivers was unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. And that tell the truth Monday crap, those coaches need to be sitting right there with those kids because they put those kids in terrible positions yesterday.
Yeah.
If you're going to play press coverage and you're not going to press, you don't need to be on the field. Put somebody else in there. Put somebody else back there. Like, you're making those wide receivers look like the freaking San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
I get it. I get that Mike Leach is there, but we're giving way too much credit for Mike Leach here, and we're not giving enough discredit to Bo Pelini and how unprepared that defense was.
Well, I think it's a very, very much on both of them. I think it's on Mike Leach for being a pretty damn good play caller. It's on Costello for making some really damn good throws. Pelini just we've talked about it enough. Pelini did what he did.
Hey, here's an interesting thing that we can talk about. And I heard I was pissed just watching football at the end of the night, and I saw I guess it was Alabama. Was it Alabama, Missouri? I saw it had
I didn't watch any of that game.
Todd Blackledge was calling one of the games.
I didn't watch any of that game.
I think that was the game that I was watching where Todd Blackledge was calling it, and he was talking about different games this year so far. Like we saw Oklahoma get beat against Kansas State, which is unreal to me.
Yeah. I kind of felt like that could happen too.
Kansas State came back, and
Right.
they beat them last year, but then Kansas State looked so bad against.
But I knew everyone was going to be saying like, "Oh, Oklahoma's going to beat the hell out of them," and they
and they were winning.
And then I knew that Oklahoma wasn't going to beat the hell out of them.
I think they were winning 27-7.
But you'll remember, Kansas State was missing like 20 guys against Arkansas State. They were
That's
missing
right.
their entire offensive line.
So here was
their
his
offensive line against Oklahoma. It's like, yeah, they're going to be a lot better now.
Here was his point. Was you watch that? What other upsets have we had already? We've already had a few where
Georgia struggled at Arkansas.
Yeah,
it wasn't an upset, but it was.
But
like
LSU
weird.
for sure. Mississippi State beating LSU, and
Texas should have lost to Texas Tech.
Was that at Texas?
Texas Tech.
It was at Texas Tech. So that doesn't matter for this one either. But his point was, you're going to start seeing teams at home that usually rely on crowd motivation, crowd pumping you up, and the other team, the away team, isn't as affected on the road as much as they normally would be, and it's going to level the playing field a little bit more for some of these teams. And so, whereas a team like LSU is better than Mississippi State, given these circumstances and given their lack of defense, and all of a sudden an offense comes in like that, and there's no like energy behind it. It makes it, and you were there. So what did it feel like?
It was just like, and I understand that point. It's like, you know, when you score a big player, you have a big play or whatever. You expect like a huge roar or something like that, and it's like I was a little surprised at how loud we were able to be with 1/4 of the stadium, and it wasn't even that. I highly doubt that there were 25,000 people at that game.
I think people
maybe 20, maybe 20.
No, no energy at all in that stadium. I mean,
it was hard to have energy when it's just like even that long touchdown to Terrace Marshall on the one-handed catch, which I didn't even know was a one-handed catch, by the way, at the time until I watched the game later. It's just like, great, we're still down by 3
right?
to Mississippi State. Like it's just like it's
it
so
turns
hard
into
to get excited about.
And it going off of last year is going to be a little bit of that rebounding from last year. Was we're just going to be like, well, about time. That's going to be our attitude. Like, finally.
Yeah, and
not like just.
I went to the game with my friend Andy, and I went into the stadium saying, okay, I need to remember this game is going to be weird, and like it's just going to be weird.
Yep.
There's no singly. This crowd's like silent almost, and we've lost so many players. Mike Leach coaches in crazy games. He thrives in crazy games. It's just going to be weird, and I need to just relax.
Well,
and I didn't relax.
No. I think that's Blackledge's point with that too, was that you are going to see more of this year, more craziness this year than ever before. You're going to see teams like Arkansas playing up against Georgia. Georgia ends up taking control at the end. But like stuff like that, Vanderbilt and Texas A&M were close.
Right. There were 2 games yesterday where a team had 5 points at halftime in the SEC. There were 2. I was like,
it's going to be a
strange
season. I watched a lot of the Florida Ole Miss game. I watched a lot of the Auburn Kentucky game.
Yeah, I watched it.
Auburn looked good to me. The wide receivers look great. I see Brantley Jones is watching right now, big Auburn fan.
Oh, really?
Auburn looked good to me.
That Ole Miss offense looks awesome.
Ole Miss looked good.
They played both quarterbacks, just like I said they should.
Well,
Remember that?
I know. Yeah. Dad was criticizing it that they were playing both. I said, "What? No, Plumlee's got to be on the field." I said, "Plumlee's got to be on the field."
Awesome.
I agree. I thought that was good. I
genuinely think Plumlee needs to be a receiver.
Oh, I do too. I like a Taysom Hill kind of role.
Yeah.
Move him in at quarterback sometimes. Do whatever you need.
Taysom Hill role in college, and then once he gets to the NFL, like just put him at receiver.
Well, he's going to play baseball anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true. But like, I said this a couple weeks ago. I think if he wants an opportunity to play in the NFL, he needs to be a receiver.
Let's talk about Kyle Pitts. How good he looked. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, same game.
Yeah, he looked fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean. Man against boys kind of situation. Now, I guess we didn't talk a lot about Ole Miss's defense and how bad it looked, but I can't say too much about them.
Whether it's how bad
now I'm thinking
defense is, or if it's that Florida is really good on offense.
I think it's a little both. I think it's like
it's definitely a combination, but
with Mississippi State,
I do wonder is that Florida offense like super legit?
So let's go back to our predictions because. Obviously, I have to change mine
we
now.
have that bet with J-Boy about
going on the road.
Yeah, the 3 road games. We're gonna go 1 and 2 in those 3.
If we play like we played yesterday, we may go 0 and 3.
No, we're not going 0 and 3. A&M. Did you see A&M?
Man,
they beat Vanderbilt by 5.
I'm sure Vanderbilt's defensive backs covered their wide receivers better than we covered Mississippi
we'll
State.
have Derek Stingley.
I'm back to the point where I have to see it to believe it. I'm back to that point. It was that bad yesterday that if it can get corrected in 1 week, my question is what the hell happened in week 1?
Yeah. I think we're really going to find out how much we do rely on Derek Stingley. Because during the Florida game, if we play Florida not really good and they kind of maybe struggle to get the passing game going, it's like, okay, Derek Stingley really makes an impact on this team. And granted, there are going to be players that step up. Elias Ricks is going to be significantly better between now and then.
And here's another thing is, are we going to play teams that aren't going to throw the ball as much and spread out and have such a imbalance of pass-run ratio? They start running the ball more against us. I think that's better in our wheelhouse.
I agree.
Right?
I think our front seven's very good.
I do too, and I think our linebackers are probably going to play well against that kind of style.
I really love our linebackers.
So we could match up better against a Florida, but again, if our defensive backs play like poo, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. It's just like
it's hard to watch being
don't
DBU and watching that crap that was on the field yesterday. That was awful.
Yeah.
That should be the first thing that's said in the locker room is this isn't acceptable here.
Yeah. Well, that was the first thing Jacoby Stevens said is that this was just embarrassing. In his press conference. That's what he said. He was just, this is embarrassing.
No, he shouldn't ever allow this to happen.
Right.
And that should have been talked about last week, not Saturday night.
And like we said, Bo Pelini should be the one that's more embarrassed than anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
So 5-5, 6-4, 7-3.
I'm feeling 7-3.
Okay. 7-3. We're already 0-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feeling 7-3.
Alabama looked good.
I think
Mac Jones looked good.
I think it's 2-2 in those Florida, Auburn, Alabama, Texas A&M.
So,
although, man, I'm just not realizing I'm just completely discrediting Ole Miss. If our defense doesn't improve, they could beat us too.
Oh yeah, take the over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Actually, let's take a look at Ole Miss for the rest of the season. Take a look at Ole Miss for the rest of the season. You may want to just take the over for the rest of the season. Billy has a question about Tulane, right?
No one cares.
Nobody cares about Tulane, Billy.
Wait, so Billy, how did Tulane look? I mean, I know they dropped 66.
Take the spread against Southern Miss for the rest of the year. Southern Miss is a complete train wreck. Okay. So their coach already resigned after the first game of the season.
Yeah,
that's a complete joke.
Yeah. Billy, let me know. Did they start the same quarterback? Was it what's his face? I can't remember.
Cam Carroll for Tulane had 4 touchdowns. So Cam Carroll's
a running back.
True freshman quarterback Pratt came in for the 3rd series. So we're not going to talk about Tulane. I don't really care.
Cemented the start. Oh, nice.
So Saints tonight against the Pack.
2020 fucking sucks. We're going to lose this game. Oh, my God. We're going to lose. We're going to lose.
Oh, God.
I have zero positivity about anything right now. We're going to lose this game.
B. Stu is all over the Saints.
Good for him.
He said -3.5, take it.
Great. -3. Saints are favored?
That's you gotta pay attention. Vegas knows.
Vegas knows what?
They know that that the Saints play well at home, prime time, that kind of stuff.
Saints play well at home. There's gonna be 20,000 people in the stadium.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I saw it matter yesterday.
Damn it! It doesn't matter.
I saw it matter yesterday. It matters. It matters a lot.
Oh man. All right.
It's not good. It's not going to be good. Us not having Michael Thomas is so crippling, and
not if you play Taysom Hill in the role that we were talking about.
But
we saw him. That first drive. We talked about this before. That first drive against the Raiders, you had Keontae. What's his name? Harris,
yeah.
Deontay Harris running that little reverse. You had Taysom Hill at quarterback one time. You had Taysom Hill in all these different roles, and then all of a sudden, you didn't go back to any of that again. and it was like you played vanilla for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
You got to be multiple when you got a guy like Thomas out. I don't know. Is the Packers defense that good? I haven't seen the Packers play.
Packers defense is good. They were really good last year, and I don't think they really lost anybody.
All right. First ever Coffee and Donuts episode. I wish it could be off of a win, but it's not. Jack's eating another freaking donut. I mean, what is
number
this?
6?
That's number 6? Jesus. Half dozen donuts for your boy over here. We will be back.
This is all I'm going to eat today.
Hey, it's birthday week for me.
Oh, nice. Big.
Yeah, big one.
We play Vanderbilt on your birthday.
Yeah, we play Vanderbilt on my birthday next Saturday. We'll have another episode, I think, probably Wednesday. I think we'll do it.
Game?
Night game, 6:30, Vanderbilt.
Great.
I can't wait to see what we look like.
I can.
You are? Okay. You just ate a half a donut all in one bite. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. We will talk to you guys later on this week. One Team, One Podcast. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and on our YouTube page. One Team, One Podcast on our YouTube page. Go check it out. Not sure if we're going to have a guest on this week or not. We may have Believe in Vandy from the Believe in Vandy podcast.
Nice.
We may bring him on. We can talk to him about Vanderbilt. He was very fired up about the Texas A&M
LSU
game.
Player on, but
are you still? Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
starter.
A starter on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
We're just giving like some hints.
Yep.
What else?
No, we should stop there.
That's it? Okay. Talk to you guys next week. One Team, One Podcast, OneTeam1Podcast.com.
Logging out.